Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show. You know, I've done this show for a long time. I have interviewed people over a long period of time, but it is rare that I get to do a story that I have followed, done interviews with over a long stretch of time. But that's exactly the case today. My guest today, interestingly enough, we have two guests today. Robert Wideman is here in the studio, and his attorney, Mark Schwartz, is across the state in Philadelphia. If you don't know the names, you don't know the story, you're going to be glad that you did. So welcome, Mark. We're glad you're able to join us. Mark is at our studio in Philadelphia, KYW. Thanks for taking the time to be a part of this. For me, this is a momentous occasion, so we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I only wish I could be there in person.
We wish you could be as well, and I feel like we almost need a bottle of champagne. Robert Wideman, Robbie Wideman, it is an honor for me to have you in the studio today. You spent over 43 years behind bars.
Yes, almost 44. Mind if I take these off?
Nope, I want you to be comfortable. You've been out for about 3 months now.
Yes. Next week it'll be 3 months. I'm still counting the days.
I know that's right. Tell me the day that you walked out. Tell me that feeling. Tell me that feeling.
Oh, it was a strange feeling because I didn't come out like most people come out. I had to go to see the doctor before I came out because I had a back operation a month prior to coming home, and so they had to take me for my last checkup, and so they had to do that first. So they took me there, still in the prison garb with the handcuffs and the jumpsuit, and took me to the renewal center. And when I got there, like, my whole family was there.
Wow. Was that emotional for you?
Whew. I tell people this a lot. You know, I'm older and I'm an older guy now, so I can cry. That day I cried and laughed and cried and laughed and laughed and cried. Because people kept coming, you know, like cousins and nieces and nephews. You know, my son, his mother, my son that got killed, his mother. You know, just all kind of people just showed up.
And what makes this significant is you had been sentenced to life, no chance of parole.
Yes. Well, I'm actually the only way a lifer can get out is that they make commutation. And that's what I did. And, you know, I'm the first one in over 25 years on this side of the state that has made commutation.
Wow. And
the system is changing. A lot of guys are, you know, they just took a lot of people up, a lot of lifers 2 weeks ago.
Right, exactly.
So.
And Mark, I'm going to bring you in at this point because I remember this. I mean, I remember this life with no chance of parole. Robbie Wideman, who I knew as a kid, that sounds overwhelming, that feels overwhelming, yet this is a case that you had fought for since the early 1980s.
That's correct. And the sad thing is, there are a lot of Robbie Widemans still in jail, and felony murder shouldn't be a statute in Pennsylvania. It never worked with the American system. It never will. The legislature and the courts have got to invalidate this. The pardon board can't do it all.
And one of the things that made this particular case unique was the fact that there was a homicide committed in the course of another crime. A man was shot and killed, but Robbie Wideman was not the gunman in that case.
Right, but see, the way felony murder works is they transfer the intent of the shooter to the others who were participants in the robbery, which means you can get some pretty bizarre situations where, you know, somebody could die of a heart attack. I've been contacted by a gentleman in North Carolina who wasn't even on the scene, who ended up with life in jail for felony murder. So it's something that's really antithetical to our system. And it's something that gave pause to Jeff Manning as prosecutor and now as judge. You know, he's been bothered by Pennsylvania's having felony murder for a long time now.
Indeed. I got to come back to you. Almost 44 years behind bars. The realities are the world changed in 44 years. Biggest challenges? I mean, first thing that comes to mind, cell phone. There weren't cell phones when you went behind bars.
And it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge. It's been 3 months now. I'm getting a little better. In the beginning, I couldn't even answer the thing. I never had a cell phone in my hand before I came out. And the day I got out, I had a cell phone. And I didn't know what to do with it. I had to ask people, what do you do with this? How do you turn it on? So it took me a minute, but I did do some computers. You know, I took computer classes for the University of Pittsburgh. And so I knew something about computers, but the cell phone is a whole nother world, a whole nother world. It's getting a little better. It's getting a little better.
And you know what, a lot changed in your personal life as well when you were behind bars. We want to talk about that. We want to talk to Mark as well about how we use your case to fight for other people. So we have a lot more to do. I know you're going to be glad you tuned in today to the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show, so stick around. We'll be right back.